if you see someone that is controlling in a romantic relationship, it is definitely a sign that make your way out.
100%.
Run out.
100%.
Disappear.
100%.
Run Usain Bolt as fast as you can.
And we're gonna go to the theory, but biblically, do you know controlling spirits a witchcraft?
It's a witchcraft, yes.
Yeah, so don't play with it, right? Don't play with it.
Hello and welcome to Answers with the Answers. My name is PG.
And I'm PH. Another episode of Answers with the Answers.
And we are excited today. We are dealing with red flags in relationships. Let me tell you one thing. Relationships is one of the most important things you need to escalate yourself in life and to be elevated in life. And so as we deal with the red flags, you'll be able to know what to look for, whether it is in your corporate relationship, in romantic relationship, in family relationship. We're going to deal with red flags today.
And that is so important. But before we get into it, we need you to like, to subscribe, and also when you go to YouTube, click that notification bell.
There you
so
go.
that each time that we post a new episode, you're first to know about it. Because
awesome.
We are coming to you with raw information, answers with biblical perspective, experiential perspective that will help you avoid mistakes in relationships.
Red flags in relations. PH, number one.
So let's first define what red flags
Go
are.
ahead.
Because where I'm from, when you look at my flag, it's red, yellow, and green. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about red flags in relationship. So red flags is behaviors, patterns, cycles that you can notice. Sometimes it's hidden. It comes out unannounced.
Wow.
You are unsure if this is the person.
Okay.
But it's there. But see, when you begin to train yourself to be aware of those red flags, then it will help you thrive in your relationship. You will avoid the pitfalls. So people have different definitions for red flags, but we're hoping that what we will bring out will just kind of give it an awareness to what to look for. You know, whether it's in a romantic relationship, your corporate relationship, your walk with God, friendship, and to help you, right?
Wow.
So red flags.
Red flags. Now, I also want to give a little bit of caution here. I don't want you to go around suspecting everyone.
Right. Yeah.
You see, there are good people out there. Yeah. And God wants to give you powerful relationships to help you live a successful life. So go ahead and deal with number one.
And that is good. And before we do number one, you're absolutely right. We want you to understand that sometimes just because you see a red flag in a person doesn't automatically cancels them out.
All right.
Maybe they're working on that habit, right? So just keep in mind. So the first one we'll talk about is he or she is unable to commitment issues, right? So they're unable to commit. And from my perspective, if a guy is unable to commit, it tells me there's more underlying issues there.
And what would that be?
You know, it's probably they never were exposed to what commitment looks like.
Okay.
Right? Maybe their parents were separated or divorced, or even if their parents were together, their parents were never physically there. So they can't really relate to commitment. Maybe they drop out of school to start their business. Maybe family members work out on them, so they don't have access to what commitment looks like.
Wow.
Maybe they live in a country where they change leadership every certain number of years, so they get used to a leadership and the leadership lives, so they don't really know what commitment is, right? But when we talk about red flag, I really think that there's underlying issue of why are they not able to commit, right? So that's my perspective. I want to hear, when a lady's unable to commit to something, right? Is it a red flag in a relationship, or what would you say?
When we talk about someone that is unable to commit, commitment is a discipline. And when that discipline is not there, it affects almost every area of your life.
Correct.
And so when you see a person that is unable to commit to relationship, if you do a little bit of research, you will realize that it affects almost all the areas of their life. Right. And so the deep stability, because commitment reveals stability.
Right.
When there is no commitment, there is no usually stability. Right. And so whenever you see someone that is not able to commit, or they are not able to stay put for a long period of time. They like to try things. They like
Right.
to test things out. And this is the root issue of commitment. And so when someone is showing the inability to commit in a relationship, this is one problem I have seen. Most of the time, people stay in that red flag because they think the person will change. But the longer you stay, the longer it becomes a problem for you to also sever that relationship.
Right.
And so usually when you see this red flag, this is how you solve it.
Okay.
Have a very deep conversation with the person.
Okay.
This is what I have seen, that it seems like anytime we commit to do something, or I have seen that anytime we are getting somewhere in this relationship or in this thing, you kind of run away. Is this something that I need to help? Is this something that we need to work on? Is this something that you are going through that we need to work, that you need to seek advice?
Wow.
Go ahead.
Wow, no, that is good. So what if the person denies that they don't have commitment issue? You have given them the cycles, you've given them the proof, you've given them the list, and they're like, listen, that's just my character. I'm with you, so in their mind, they're committed to you, but they're not committed to other things, right? What if they deny it? Like, is there a ground to sever the relationship?
I believe there's always a ground to sever relationship, because the reason why most of the time people stay with these red flags is because there were not established goals right from the beginning.
Right.
And so the question is, what are we committed to?
That's right.
Right? What are we committed to? So
but
because
you get the people that say they're free spirited, they just go with the flow, go with the wind. It doesn't matter. Like that's an issue, but to them, that is a lifestyle, right?
Right.
To them, it's a lifestyle, but it is an issue. So my question to you, PG, is this. What is the longest thing you've committed to in your life?
Jesus, over 30 years.
And how did you do that?
Stability, daily habits. Wow. Daily. And you've lived with me,
right.
15 years out of it.
Right.
Daily habit. Never miss quiet time with the Lord.
Okay.
Not even when I go to bed at 2.
Okay.
My time I wake up to pray.
Right.
I wake up to pray. So consistency creates commitment.
So what if they're can you say that again? That is
consistency
deep.
Will create commitment.
Consistency.
So when I see your behavior consistently, I will know whether you are committed to or not committed to.
So red flag number 1, when he or she is unable to commit, it's because they lack discipline.
Pastor, you know what? I feel like this unable to commit, we have to do a whole show on it.
No, commitment is big.
So let's move on to the second one and we'll get back to them.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So the second one is he or she is controlling.
Right.
Now, I think he or she is controlling. The controlling comes from a power struggle.
Okay.
Especially sometimes when you fall at a certain time of whether you're the middle child, the last born, you want a certain level of control of I want my identity to be known. I want my other people to put some respect on my name. I want the church to know that I'm here. Some respect on it. I want church people to know that I'm mad. I've been doing this for years. I want my husband to know or my wife to know that, listen, I'm in control. Like, it's a power struggle thing, right? And I believe that when someone is controlling, it can be so dangerous, because a person that is controlling means that they are taking your will, they're taking your intellect, they're taking your emotions, and they're determining what you should do with them. God does not even do that. Right. So that is a deep thing. And I heard a in the background, and it's so true, right? It's so true, right? So I really believe that controlling is a not just red, magenta red flag.
I guess the guys, we need to do Google for magenta, right?
Like, it's like blood red, right? It's all the signs. So I want to hear your thoughts on it. And you know what? Contrary to what society has said, some ladies can be really controlling. Right. So I need your perspective on red flag as it relates to control. Because in our practice, we've seen people control people to death. Like, they kill them. And it's really, really sad. So I really wanted to touch on it with control.
When we talk about controlling, right, you need to see in terms of what are they controlling of.
Right.
Because most of the time we need to find out what are they controlling. Now, if it is a romantic relationship, and the person is possessive of you. In other words, they determine what you can do. They determine how you can go. if whether you can work, your wisdom, your intellect, your understanding, where you carry, it's not allowed to flourish.
Right.
That is what controlling does.
Right.
It takes who you are from you.
Right.
Most of the time, controllers have self-esteem issues.
Can you please hit
Yes,
that
most of the
button
time,
again?
those that control have self-esteem issues.
Yes.
So the more they see you either suffer or depend on them, the more power trip they have. And so they can use various avenues to control, whether financially, whether sex. People use sex to control, whether money. Well, even there are people that use spirituality to control.
Yeah.
And so control, it's a very, very interesting thing to deal and to look into.
Right.
One of the things I will always say is if you see someone that is controlling in a romantic relationship, it is definitely a sign that make your way out.
100%.
Run out.
100%.
Disappear.
100%.
Run Usain Bolt as fast as you can.
And you know, we're gonna go to the theory, but biblically, do you know controlling spirits and witchcraft?
It's a witchcraft, yes.
Yeah. So don't play with it, right? Don't play with it. If they're controlling you, they're putting some stuff on you.
Now
you
let me
must
say
run,
something.
right?
Whenever you see controlling, there's also manipulation. The twin brother of control is manipulation. Yes.
Because they got to manipulate.
Or the twin sister.
Twin sister, twin brother. That's a good one.
Now, let's say this. There are, and what we are dealing with, it has nothing to do with whether it's a guy or they are. It's everyone can be controlling.
Right.
I've seen relationship where the lady is extremely controlling, and I've seen ones where the gentleman is extremely controlling. So look for signs, right? Look for signs. Are they so possessive? Do they allow you to be who you are? Are they encouraging in your talent and your gifting? Now, one of the things I will say is that also give people time and study them. And let me tell you something. Whenever you get into relationship, that is why, please, courtship and relationship is a time to really study people. And that is why we encourage people not to double relationship with sex, because the moment you bring sex in, your ability to really, really decipher what is going on is blurred. It's messed up.
That's right. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's jump into number 3 because control is a whole.
So I deal with number 3.
Yes, you deal.
Disrespectful.
Man.
Disrespect. Now, I want to deal with disrespect. You see, for men, honor is what keeps a man. It is something God put in man. And so the greatest need of a man, of course, they say in the context of marriage is sex, which can be argued, but it is true. But the need of a man is respect and honor. So when they feel disrespected, and every human being, when disrespected, actually something dies on the inside of you. And so whenever you see disrespect in relationship, the way they treat you, especially when in front of people, especially publicly, doesn't mean that you must also condone disrespect behind the scenes. But whenever you see extreme disrespect, it is something to consider and ask yourself a question. Is this something I can keep on doing for the rest of my life? And if that is the case, I am not doing it.
You know, disrespect is such an, I mean, you said it so well. It's such a big deal in relationship because it's almost like you disregard the other individual as a human being.
Wow.
Like you generally don't believe that they are made in the image of God. You look down on them. You're condescending. And when even you do it publicly, I always ask them, why even with the person to begin
Control.
with? See, it goes back to the cousin of control, right? There you go. So for ladies and even for gentlemen, you need to be able to see the temperaments of these individuals.
Right.
And you know, Pastor George says something, watch and study them in courtship. The way they speak to their parents, the way they speak to their friends, the way they speak to people. It's only a matter of time. That's who their character is. And that's who they really are. And disrespectful people may or may not be quick to say, I'm sorry, but the behavior repeats itself. See, each time someone willfully disregard you as a human being, like it's a red flag to run.
Wow.
Because it's only a matter of time. They will kill you and tell people you're missing.
Oh,
That's just
that's serious.
respectful. Yes.
Hey, now,
Because they don't regard you, right?
this is serious.
This is serious. It is
now,
serious.
now, what I want to say when it
Right.
comes to red flag in this respect is, and I want to tell people, look for how the one that you're with treat people
Yes.
outside of who you are.
That's right. Yeah.
You see, for you, they can pretend to even respect you.
Mhm.
But the way to know someone
Yeah.
is how they treat others.
Yeah. That's
If
right.
you can see how they treat others, you will know who they are.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things about disrespect is it's almost like the attitude of I'm better than you.
Yes.
And they wear that so well. And what people don't know is that it's actually a really unpleasant, untasteful, not so nice attitude. Like, I don't take kindly with disrespectful people, because the truth of the matter is that we are made in the image of God.
Right?
And what you're saying is that the image that you were made in does not matter.
Wow.
You know, and that hurts. And if you're with a person, you love them, you got to really think about your actions and think about what you're doing to them, right? And disrespectful people just are prideful.
Wow.
And the last time I checked my Bible, Satan was prideful of pride.
That's
So,
good.
yeah.
So whenever you see,
Yeah.
how do you identify a person is disrespecting
But you know, the other thing that we need to bring out is that some people in relationship don't respect themselves. So
Right.
they open themselves to be disrespected. You know what I mean? Because you have to look in the inside of you. What are you giving out for the individual to think it's okay to disrespect you, right? Because some people really don't value themselves. They don't even have values, which is another episode we're going to talk about.
That's right.
They don't have values, or they don't know how to cultivate values. So when they show up, people just say, oh, as for this one, we can disrespect her.
Right.
And it becomes, after a while, you begin to tolerate that behavior, but it's not okay. It's a red flag in any relationship, whether it's corporate, whether it's in the church, in the ministry, in families, with friends. Be a person that values who you are, so that you are respected. And when you're in a circle where you are being disrespected, like I tell people all the time, if they don't want you at the table, remove yourself, go to the forest, get your log, and build yourself a table and a chair.
Wonderful.
And be great at it. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Don't stay to be disrespectful, because it's not really a pleasant thing to endure. It's a red flag. Red
go.
flag.
Now
Next
the
one.
next one is they don't pay attention to your needs.
Oh, that's not nice.
I mean, when you are in relationship with someone, it is a symbiotic thing. In other words, hand go, hand comes. And in the context of marriage is different. In the context of marriage, it is 100% I'm here for you, 100% you are here for me. So it's not a contract where if you give me 2, I'll give you 2.
Right.
If you give me 5, I'll give you 5. The day you give me 3, I'll give you 3. No. In relationship concerning marriage,
Right.
it is the unconditional love you're able to give.
Right.
And so you are there to just see the need, because a day is going to come, you will not be able to give, and the person will be there 100% to
Right.
help and to build you. And a day is going to come, they will not be able to give, and you be able to give 100%. So in the context of marriage, that is how God created it, where we are able to come and give 100% ourselves, and sometimes not even expecting anything.
Right.
However, the other person must also know that as I give 100% of myself,
You
give
must give
100%.
back. But my question is, what if you are not paying attention to my needs, because my needs are unrealistic?
Yes, and that is
Right?
where most people miss it in relationship, because the reason why, and as a matter of fact, we will deal with it why sometimes people actually remain single.
Oh.
And this is one of the reasons, is because their needs are unrealistic.
So in a relationship, is it unrealistic to say I want a Birkin bag?
I believe usually if you want whatever bag you want, that is not what makes a relationship, right?
No,
a bag
but
is not what makes a relationship. We are dealing with the values that builds relation. Someone can give you that Birkin bag,
Right.
but they carry no value that can take you far. And so those are
Also,
outside the
okay.
range of values that builds relationship.
No, I think in the area of they don't care about my needs. Okay, let's say I come, I want Birkin, you said no. I want Cartier bracelet, you said no. I want Gucci, you said no. Like after a while, can the lady now say, you don't care about my needs?
Well, then obviously
And
at
this
this
is
point,
this is not a selfish question.
no,
I'm asking for the
I want
ladies
to answer
out
that
there.
question because obviously what I'm hearing, the question that I'm hearing has become that the relationship is solely based on materialistic values. And so we are not
Okay.
dealing with what is the future we have together. What is the purpose are we going to build together? What is our next investment strategy? What is the children we're going to have? How are we going to build for the children? What is our health goals? You know, those are the things we are building as far as marriage and deeper relationship are concerned.
Right.
The stuff that comes out of it is important, but
Right.
those are just the fluid that helps.
No, I see that, but just on the side notes, right? All this stuff are actually investments, right? So when you actually get a Chanel bag, right? And I'm not promoting any brand. I'm just saying when you get a Chanel bag with time, it actually gains value, right? So you're right. It is material things, but
Absolutely. I'd rather teach that person
I hope
to gain
I'm
their
preaching
value.
to the choir.
Right? But it's a good thing. Let's move on to the next
so
one.
I guess a red flag
when they
this
don't
is,
pay attention to the
when
needs.
they keep disrespecting your needs, then that becomes a problem.
And I think that in this case we are dealing with the most important needs of life. They don't care about your health. They don't care about your academic growth. They don't care about your spiritual growth. They don't care about your emotional growth. They don't care about the things that makes you the best person that you can be. That after they care about those needs, there's nothing you can't buy on the outside. Those are the needs we're dealing with.
I realized God did something. He always put opposite people together in marriage, right? So not that I'm talking about bags only. We're talking about red flags. But Pastor George is like the value, the life, the future. And I'm like, yes, then there is the bags, the bracelets. So it's a beautiful balance.
Absolutely.
So there's no red flag here, just a beautiful balance.
Let's move on to the next one.
The next one is red flag of jealousy. Oh, that's possession. Jealousy. That's like you are mine. Like no one, I know of a friend that she needs to tell the guy that she's with when she wakes up, where she's going, how long she's gone for, where she bought gas, how much she bought gas. And even me around her, I'm nervous for her. Okay? Because the guy is filled with jealousy. And jealousy to me is a demon. It's a demonic spirit. Because that is just now, you just want to not only control, you are just, you're unrealistic. Right? And I believe one of the underlying issues is that it goes back to power, right? Control and the ability to just dictate to a person. But I know what happens to dictators in the world. They disappear. Okay? So don't be a dictator. And if in a relationship where, the guy or the girl is jealous, what sometimes they can do that people don't know is that they will steal your creativity. They will steal your future. Because maybe you were supposed to go like a business meeting and make a deal. But because of baby, don't go. Stay with me. No. You miss the ability to make that deal because of baby, don't go. Right? So you have to be able to know that, baby, I must go for our future. Right. And you need to get a hold of yourself. But one of the underlying issues is self-esteem, right? The ability that someone is going to steal them from them. But one of the reasons is that when you begin to sleep around before you get married, then you don't trust the individual. So when it's time to go, you don't want to leave because you think that they will repeat that behavior. So jealousy is a dangerous thing and a dangerous behavior. And I think we generally need to categorize as a red flag.
Red flags in relationships. Yes. So jealousy, it's a very, very important flag to look for.
Right.
Are they able to allow you to become whom you're supposed to become in your purpose? And that is why I want to encourage you right at the beginning of you meeting someone, let them know what you stand for. And I remember when we met, the first week we spoke I shared with her, this is what I do right now. I'm in banking. but my near goal or the call on my life is that I will let everything go and work for God.
And once again, like I told you in the previous episodes, go watch it. I was so in love. Whatever he said, I'm like, sure,
Right.
I'm in. Are you sure? But then, like I said, he had to grow me into
That's
what
right.
it is that he had said, and now I fully understand it. But those times, I'm like, no problem, I got this.
And one of the
right?
lessons I would
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
PH, when it comes to jealousy is when you don't develop one another,
Yes.
sooner
Yeah.
or later you're going to be
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah.
Because if one keeps going higher,
Yeah.
a time is going to come, this one is going to be jealous of the people they will be hanging with.
That's right.
Number two,
So true.
when you don't bring each other to the level they are supposed to. You know, one of the things God helped us to do was that there is no level God takes me, I don't bring my wife
That's
along.
right.
It doesn't matter what it is. Whether in revelation, whether in wisdom, whether in... I remember about many years ago, I wrote a letter to her and I wrote a 10 years and I addressed her and how she was going to become.
That's right.
And in that letter, I addressed her as Dr. Harriet.
Yeah.
10 years later, 10 years later, when I read the letter to her, everything that I had written to her in that letter had come to pass.
That's right.
So for when that happens, when I'm with colleagues or ministry friends or whoever it is, she knows that we are all at the same level by the grace of God. And we can go anywhere together. I don't need to bring any other person wherever I want to go. And she doesn't need to be jealous because when we get there, the wisdom, the know-how, the capacity has been developed.
And it's so true. So true with what you just said, because I realized that, like, PG is like my biggest cheerleader. Like, if you ever see his face when I'm preaching, it's almost like, yes. And it's because most of the things that I know you taught me and you brought me there and you just said, go, you can do it. So it gives me the confidence. So even if everyone said you were bad, all I need is you were good from him, and you can tell me nothing. Why? Because we understood exactly what assignment was. So please don't entertain jealousy. Some people go with this whole thing, oh, it is cute for you to be jealous. No, it's going to develop into a monster. It is cute today, but it's only a matter of time. It's going to develop into a monster. When I was like, okay, baby, I'm just going to do this. And you're like, well, why are you going? Well, it was okay then. No, if it's not addressed now, it would develop into something that you cannot control. And you begin to destroy each other's destiny based on the fact that you are not comfortable with who you are. Or maybe you were lazy to not put time in yourself to develop yourself, right? Maybe your partner has actually been encouraging you, but you're not doing the work. You're not putting in the work. And sometimes, as much as they want to support you, they don't have time to always pull you along.
That's right.
You become a baggage, right? You become a baggage. You have to be a purse. You can't be a luggage.
Ooh.
That's a good one. You gotta be a purse.
So I think we need to discuss how to be a purse
not a
rather
baggage.
than a baggage.
Yes.
So it's coming.
So come along, and but jealousy is a red flag, and it needs to be dealt with, right? So are we gonna deal with the last one?
Let's deal with the last one.
Okay.
Let's deal with the last one, and that is anger.
Oof.
And so anger is something that you cannot play with. And the cues and the things that the characteristics are always seen and shown. And I want you to pay attention to anger. Pay attention to anger. I remember one lady came to me to show someone that she wanted to go out with, and I remember I was discussing something with her and I told her, be careful, this guy is angry. She's like, no, I'm in love. See my voice, I had to change it. She's told me she's in love, and I said I have seen signs of really extreme anger. Not a few weeks later, she came to me running. Pastor, you were right. I said, you should have learned from wisdom.
That's right.
The good news is that the guy didn't do what he was supposed to do. And I've seen the same also to do with a lady as well, where the lady slapped the guy in public. Yes.
So anger will make you do things and then you regret later. But you need to seek help.
Right.
You just need to seek help. And you have to say, listen, I love you enough for you to go seek help by yourself. You know what I mean? You have to give them like the helpline and everything and tell them, I am leaving. Go and seek help. And let me tell you something. When you leave, have a plan in place. Because they're going to come and find you. They're going to come to look for you, because to them, why did you leave them? Why? You know what I mean? It's a controlling thing. So when you're with someone, first of all, date number one, they will hide it well. Date number two, that's why you always have to ask God to give you the insight, like, you know, the insight to be able to know who you're dealing with. Like, you have to approach every date with prayers, with wisdom, with understanding, so that when you're there, they will give you cues. And then you now say, you know what? I've seen this pattern. You need help. Now, the minute you point out that they need help, they're going to be defensive, because guess what? The monster of anger is just going to rise and come out. Run, baby, run. I mean, run, like flee, because anger will destroy not just you, but it will destroy everything that you've built.
That's right.
And it's a red flag.
You know,
yes,
these are really amazing points, and we just know that it's going to be helpful to you. Whenever it comes with anger or to do with anger, most of the time, those that are actually angry are very nice people.
Oh, yes.
They are very nice. You cannot predict what they will do. It's
trigger
just that
points.
they are trigger points.
Yeah.
I want to say that there are some people that are willing to get help. Sometimes there are some of these flags that we are talking about, and I want to really balance it. Some of these flags that we are talking about, there's not a person that will have all of it.
No.
I mean,
you don't want to be, that one.
Right.
Yes, don't want to be.
And so it would be one or two, and then some of the qualities they have may actually be way more outweighing the red flags.
Right.
Just know this, and I want to show you something. As long as people are willing to get help,
right,
such people are good people to be with.
That's right.
If they are willing to have real help.
Yeah.
But if they are not willing to look and seek for help, and they want to defend, that is when it becomes a red flag. And in soccer, when there is a red flag,
you're out.
You're out.
You're out. Oh, that's
so
a good
today,
one.
Red flag.
You're out.
I'm out.
Answers with
the answers.
Now, do they have green flags?
I
don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it one more time.
We will deal with the green flags of relationships.
We hope you were really, really informed with all that we brought with you. Until next time, go ahead and like, subscribe, share it, and make sure you click that notification bell.
There you go.
And let's keep this going.
Answers
with the answers. No red flags.
No red flags.
No red flags.
See you soon.
See you soon.
God bless.